Do you know what I'm going to say about Izzy getting his purple belt, or what question I'm going to ask you?
Do I think that Izzy could pass your guard?
Well, do you?
I don't know.
I'm Justin Lesko, a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu brown belt and former pro MMA fighter.
And I'm Mike Callahan, a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu brown belt and a law enforcement officer. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about making the most out of your training if you're on a tight schedule.
Plus, this week we learned that if you're a UFC champ who gets a purple belt, not everyone will be happy for you.
Also, we recently found out that Mikey Musumeci is a world record holder and how Conor McGregor may be Jiu Jitsu's savior.
Well, at least in Port Arlington.
This weekend, we also learned of Bellator scooping up a former UFC fighter, and finally, the UFC flyweight division may have actually gotten a fight that it's long needed.
And something that you've always needed is a rash guard from Crown Rash Guards.
I already have some.
Yeah, I wasn't talking to you, but since they're offering free shipping, you might as well pick up a few more.
That's right. They're actually offering free shipping and free returns, so maybe I will pick up one. Short sleeve one to show off the guns.
You can do a bundle for extra savings, and you can pick out a few different styles and colors. When you bundle them together, you can save even more on already affordable rash guards.
Crown Rash Guard, the minimalist design, free shipping, free returns, and affordability. It really does make it the best holiday gift for that grappler in your life.
Head on over to crownrashguards.com and make sure you let them know that we sent you. And now, let's get right into it. Welcome to That Jiu Jitsu Podcast. So we go for a walk.
Yeah.
Every Saturday, Sunday morning, we go for a walk. But this was Saturday night. We went for a nighttime Christmas light viewing walk around town. And we're walking, and it's me and Amanda pushing the carriage. And I look over, and there's this like bench press rack on the side of the road in front of somebody's house. And like I kind of like double taked, like that actually looks like not trash. Like it looks like it's in decent shape. So I jog over, and it is like it's in like good shape. It looks good. I'm taking that bench. Like I'm gonna get that. So
How far from your house were you?
maybe less than a mile, but like a 10-minute walk, like
Oh,
decent
okay.
enough. We walk back and we go inside. Nora has dinner time, and then we do bath time, and then I put her to bed. So now it's like an hour and a half after we saw the rack, and I'm like, all right, it's gone. Like someone's taken that. It's gone.
It's gone.
Well, fortunately, it was like this creepy, hazy, foggy night that you had like no visibility, right? So I'm like, there's a chance. There's a chance it's still there. So I get in the car and I drive back there, and it's still there. It's like I'm mine. I'm taking it.
Okay.
I don't have a big car. I have a Nissan Sentra. I'm on the side of the road in front of this person's house. There's this rack on the street. I'm like taking the baby seat out and like putting it in the front seat so I can lay down the back seats. I can't get
Oh
this
my
thing in. I'm
God.
like, all right, I'm just going to have it basically hanging out the trunk, and I'm going to be driving, and I'm going to be reaching
Yeah.
back. I'm going to be reaching back and just holding on to this metal contraption and hoping in the less than 5-minute drive home, it doesn't go sliding and falling out, and I'll be fine. And then I hear all of these sirens, and it's because Santa's coming, and he's on the fire engine, and they're going through the neighborhoods. So now they're blocking off like one of the parallel streets, so Santa doesn't come behind me, but every car that can't go down that other street starts coming behind me, and there's a mile-long train
Oh my
of
God.
these cars while I have a fucking bench press rack hanging out the back of the car. I bring it inside. I get it downstairs. It's all set up now. But it dawned on me that maybe that thing wasn't like it wasn't a trash day. No one was like, it wasn't like it was out for trash. I'm kind of nervous that like the Flemington Police Department is going to show up at my house like, yo, why did you steal this guy's bench press? He was just in between sets working out outside for the night, and you fucking nicked his fucking bench press.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This is like this is how you think that a guy was outside in the middle of the evening on a as you described it, a hazy, creepy, hazy night where you couldn't even see, but in the middle, in December, by the way, in Flemington, Santa Claus was driving around, and this guy in your mind was outside working out. Now, there was no weights around the bench, right? So in between his sets, he would carry the dumbbells or the barbell inside with him just to kind of keep his heart rate up during his sets.
Maybe he was like
Is
a
that what we're getting
CrossFit
at here?
nerd and he was like jogging with the barbell across his
Yeah,
shoulders.
yeah, yeah.
Unlikely.
Unlikely,
But it was
unlikely.
it was a great find because I've been looking for like a squat rack or just like a bench press rack or something to put downstairs to be able to catch a quick workout during the day. And we're just walking along and Santa came early, left it on the side of the road for me.
Maybe that's actually a more feasible concept. That's something I can get on board with more so than the disappearing guy working out, taking all other tools used for the workout except for the bench. Is maybe Santa Claus just left this thing. He knew that you were there. He knew that you were coming because he's magical, and and he just left it there.
It was
So
a great find. I'm happy I have it. And it's like it's so nice being able to go like on my lunch break, I just go down and catch an hour workout and come back up and go back
right.
to work. Like working from home, like, you got to make do. And then even if I was gonna like join a gym like down the street, you still have to factor in time to drive there, time to drive back, work around other people. Now I just go down
Talk to
there.
everybody.
Everyone wants an autograph. Everyone's listening to the show. They see
Yeah,
my mask that says
I
that Jiu
mean it's
Jitsu
nice.
podcast on it, and they're asking me where they can get them, and
It's
I'll
like
link it in the
how can we
description.
get on the show? And yeah,
It's too much,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
but now I can.
You shouldn't have to be subjected to that either.
But now I can just go down there and catch something real quick, and that's kind of in keeping with the theme of during COVID, everything we do is sort of like quick. And by we, I don't mean like the general population of the world. I mean like you and I, like we're trying to
Yeah.
catch quick rolls. So we're showing up at 6 in the morning before working, catching a quick 5 rounds. And I'm trying to catch a quick workout in the basement in between doing work on my lunch break. Like you can make shit happen on a short period of time if you really are focused on it.
Yeah, I mean, and I've adjusted my whole thing too. Like I used to work out on like at nap time when I would be home with the boys, but um, now I've kind of scaled back the workout, and it's I just need 35 to 40 minutes, and I can get it done. Just making adjustments too. I've kind of switched up my regimen.
But it's all like, yeah, you have to have like a plan. And I think that goes like you have to have a plan going into how you're going to work out. You have to have a plan going into how you're going to like lift and work out. Like I think you should also have a plan. Like when you and I are training in the mornings, first of all, that's already making an adjustment where we're going to roll super early in the morning just to make it work because our schedules don't line up in the evening or any other time of the
Right,
day.
right. Yep.
Going into
Yeah.
training, like you and I have a plan of like, all right, we want to work on this. We're going to get right to it. We're going to work this situational sparring, or I'm going to work off of this position or work this submission, and having a plan and not just going in like free for all, like however we end up doing it, we end up doing it. You can be more efficient that way.
Yeah, and I mean it's jujitsu's not our career yet, so we kind of have to pick and choose what we're doing. Like you were saying, like I feel like we haven't drilled as much as we should. We talked about it a couple shows ago how like it's to the point where we were trying to kill each other. But we'll get back there. It's even more like I'm fucking quarantined right now. But we'll get back there. You have to make do, you know?
Yeah. And it's like we said, find the time that works. If it works where you can train on your lunch break, train on your lunch break. If you have to train in the middle of the night, train in the middle of the night. If you got to train at 6 a.m., train at 6 a.m. It's just if wanting to train outweighs not wanting to be tired, then you make it work. You just make it work. That's how it goes.
Another thing that you see a lot of people doing is just dropping into different schools and um, you know, training with within like these small circles, regardless of what schools they're at. Um, say what you want, but you know, IBJJF still holding tournaments, and there's still competitions going on around the country and everything, and Fight to Win's opening back up. So people are still competing. So obviously, like you have to, if you're going to be competing, you have to find time to train, right? So like I feel it's almost like you have these speakeasies, like these, you know what I
Prohibition
mean? Like
mats, yeah.
yeah. So it's
But it's also too like it's also not even just like COVID times. Like right now, where I live is an hour away from the school I train at, and
right.
I have a toddler, I have a baby on the way, and I live an hour from my school. The times when I can dedicate 4 hours to an hour in the car there, 2 hours of training, and an hour in the car back, it's very minimal. So if I have to drop in at a local school that's 10 minutes away just to do an open mat and get 10 rounds in, sometimes your circumstance dictates your schedule and you have to be willing to go outside your comfort zone a little bit, drop in at a school that's closer every once in a while as opposed to making the long drive to your main school. It's just, it is what it is.
Especially with the Philly jiu-jitsu scene too. We've talked about it before with how good it is, but on top of that, like you're not going to run into a lot of assholes. Like you're going to walk in to a lot of gyms and find like very hospitable people who are very welcoming to outsiders, and it says a lot about the jiu-jitsu scene in Philly.
Yeah, if you don't live in Philly, sucks to suck, I guess. Another way to really be efficient with the time is recognize who you're with and how best to use that time. If you're, again, like this is not just COVID times, but this is all times forever. If you're in a small group and you guys are just going to train real quick and there's 10 of you who show up, do shorter rounds to get 20 rounds, 2 rounds total against each person to get a variety. But when it's just me and you showing up, I don't have time to sit around and rests in between rounds for a minute. We're just gonna go sub only and just keep rolling until we
Yeah.
can't. Like manage the time efficiently.
Yeah. I mean, I like training with a lot of people, but I think that you were just saying like do shorter rounds. I don't even think that you need, as long as you're moving, you know what I mean, as long as you're making the most out of it. Like I don't think that you need to necessarily roll with everybody. And I mean, I guess it depends on what you're trying to get. If you're trying to get a bunch of different looks, or you're just trying to roll with the best guys, like you can walk into a room full of killers and it doesn't matter who you draw, you're going to get, you're going to be running the whole time.
But again, that goes back to what we said originally, having a plan. Like you, for the most part, what you want to get accomplished in each training session. And if you're going in for, all right, today I really need to work on pushing the pace and getting good cardio in and working hard, maybe instead of a minute rest, you do 30 seconds. That 30 seconds adds up to total time that you can spend training and you're accomplishing that goal. What you can do too is you can be a bad employee and watch jiu-jitsu videos during the day while you're supposed to be working as opposed to after work. And that way, all the stuff you want to steal from Lachlan, it's ready to go right when you get on the mat.
Yeah, I don't do that. That would be bad. I don't do that.
Taxpayers would not be happy.
That's illegal. Actually, I don't think it's illegal, but it's not good.
If you can, though, on a more serious note, if you live close to where you're training and you have the ability to warm up before you get there, or maybe you can go for a nice jog from your house to wherever you're rolling, and that can be your warm up. The main goal here is to be on the mat rolling for as much of the time you're at the place you're training as possible. So if you get there and you got to spend 10 minutes warming up, you're wasting time.
Here's another thing. Any jiu-jitsu practitioners out there that would like to get a roll in from the hours of 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., on whatever night that I'm working, feel free to come to wherever I am, commit a crime, and then resist arrest by using your jiu-jitsu skills.
Have you ever attempted to arrest someone who you could tell was doing well with their jiu-jitsu and you let them go because they also trained?
No, that would be illegal.
Like you go for the scissor sweep and a guy defends it and steps around and you're like, all right, cool,
I
man, you're free to go.
I can honestly say I've never been on my back at work, and I'm not saying that like I've never been on my. Have I? No, I've never been on my back at work.
Wait. You don't pull guard in the process of handcuffing?
I do the fake guard pull ankle pick.
Oh, that looked good on. I'll link to that from Instagram when I hit you with that, and everyone thought it was a clean technique.
It wasn't because you're fucking cheap.
Pays to be the editor.
If you and I were to not roll, if you and I were to wrestle with, no, not jujitsu wrestling, but wrestling, who would win?
Do you want the real answer or do you want the diplomatic answer?
I don't know if you would. I don't. In all seriousness, I don't. If we didn't have a gi on, I don't know if you would score a point on me.
If we didn't have a gi on,
Right.
I'm not worried about your shot. I'm not.
Okay.
I think
I
we would
get I
tie
get
up.
it. I get in on your legs every single time I shoot. You have terrible hand defense.
If we wrestle with no gi on, you're not taking me down, and it might take me 5 or 6 minutes, but I'm gonna throw you.
Oh, oh, I like yeah, okay. If we so obviously like I pay attention to wrestling more than you do, so I feel like it would be unfair to ask you to participate in like a full wrestling match. You know what I mean? So like a freestyle wrestling match, because I just don't feel like you understand the rules to the point where it would be you know a legitimate challenge. But what we can do is we can just do takedown for takedown, and like we can set however many takedowns we can do. First to 5 takedowns, first to 10 takedowns, whatever you want to do. But I'm gonna win convincingly. Convincingly.
I'm gonna tell you exactly how this would play out. All right, we would set a number, say 5 takedowns. We're gonna go for 5 takedowns.
Okay.
I'll concede you might get close on one of them.
Okay.
And what's going to happen is I'm not going to be actively shooting or looking for trips or throws. It's going to go 30 minutes or so before the first takedown's going to happen. And it's going to be me taking you down, and then I'm going to do it again, because you're going to be tired, and I won't be tired by then. So all I have to do is outlast the early barrage that you'll throw at me, which I will do, and then wait it out and then win.
Okay. I don't think that if we go to 5, I don't think that you get more than 3 takedowns on me.
If we go to 5, I was gonna say if we go to 5, I'll hit 5 different takedowns on you, but I don't have that many takedowns.
You don't know 5 different takedowns.
If we go to 5, I think I would win, and I would toss you at least once.
You've never tossed me though.
Because one of us always pulls.
Oh my god. This is craziness.
This is what we can do. We can set up a bonus episode live stream on Patreon. Everyone can tune in live and see who wins the takedown off.
Yeah, it's gonna be me. Convincingly.
All right. I'm excited for this competition. I've never seen a more shocked face than when I said that you wouldn't take me down.
Yeah, because it's fucking ridiculous. I think I took you down recently. And that was in a gi.
Anyway, now you're all fired up. I don't even know if we can continue with the show. You'll be too distracted and angry. All right, well, if there's any that we missed or any tips that you have for making the most of your time and maximizing a short time to train, let us know in the comments below. And if there's any good ones, we'll read about next week.
So yeah, just manage your time efficiently. Take advantage of every opportunity that you have to train. And even if it's really short periods of time, just do what you can. Just try to improve every time that you get on the mat, regardless of how much time you have.
If you're rolling, you're getting better. It's just a question of, can you make the period of time you spend at the place you train all training. Don't waste time. Go in with a plan. Get on the mat right away. Warm up at home if you can. Train when you have to, and go in with a plan so that when you get there, you can roll and you can get better, because there's no sense in rolling if you're not getting better.
I like it.
Hey everyone, holiday shopping is in full swing, and we just wanted to remind you that what your friends and family really want is us.
Yeah, actually, when people write into us, the number one thing that we always get is how do we get more Mike and Justin in our lives?
I think you might be misreading those emails, but if you head over to patreon.com/thatjujitsupodcast, you can get access to tons of bonus content that you can't get just on this audio feed or on YouTube.
Right, and we have different tiers. The lowest one of which starts at $3, and with each tier, you get access to more and more content.
From early access to episodes, to the monthly blooper reel, technique breakdowns, Q&A episodes, and more. The higher the tier, the more you get, and all tiers listen ad-free.
Right, and subscribing to our Patreon really helps out the show. It allows us to put more and more content out there for you guys, and we truly appreciate all the support.
I'll post a link in the description below, so please check it out, and remember that we make a great gift for everyone on your list.
And for yourself.
And for yourself.
And now, back to the show.
We had talked when we were talking about Yoel Romero last episode.
Yeah.
And remember, everyone, Bellator, PFL, everyone said that they weren't going to sign him, and they didn't.
Yeah.
Scott Coker was like, "Oh, we're good without him."
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise! Romero signs with Bellator.
Yeah, I called that.
And Anthony Rumble Johnson also signs with Bellator.
Yeah, and they came out and said that Romero's going to go to the light heavyweight division, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, why cut a bunch of weight at this point? Like, they're going to pay him a decent amount of money just to show up, I think. I don't think he really needs to kill himself cutting weight.
No.
And he's in Bellator. He'll get a title fight right away if he wants it, even coming off of however many losses in a row.
Yeah.
The more surprising one, I think, was Anthony Johnson going to Bellator. I
thought
know Dana White said that Rumble Johnson wanted to be at the UFC, but they just couldn't make it work.
Yeah.
In quotes. I don't know what that means.
I'm sure it's money. I'm sure that he wanted more money than the UFC wanted to pay. So
I bet you someone was calling somebody's bluff.
Yeah.
Rumble Johnson says, "Oh, I'll go to Bellator." Dana says, "Oh yeah, go ahead." And Rumble Johnson does, and Dana just shrugs his shoulders because whatever.
Whatever.
That's two big scoops for Bellator. Those are both big name guys coming from the UFC. It's a big scoop, I think. Robert Whitaker just got his jiu-jitsu black belt, which was cool to see. That dude, Robert Whitaker's been training, I think, for a long time, and he's a better grappler than I think he gets credit for.
Right,
So it was cool to see him get promoted to black belt.
Yeah, I agree. He, when you think of him, you think of him being a stand-up guy, and for what it's worth, he stood up with Izzy, and it was a good fight.
Didn't go so well.
No, but it was still a good fight. But he's an all-around fighter. He's a stud.
Yeah, and by all accounts, a nice guy, cool dude too. I realized doing this show that I'm a fan of a lot more people than I would say I'm a fan of, because when we talk about them, I feel compelled to say I've been a fan of Robert Whitaker for a long time, and it's cool to see him get his black belt. And then you mentioned Izzy. Izzy got promoted to purple belt by Andre Galvao.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. I shared the video on Instagram too of Galvao surprised him with it, where he was gonna demonstrate a technique on Izzy, and Izzy sat down Galvao was gonna have his back, and Galvao turned around and gave him the purple belt, and Izzy was genuinely shocked. And it's a cool moment to see someone. I love a surprise promotion. It's always fun to see a surprise promotion. But your boy Chael P. Sonnen was none too pleased with Izzy getting his purple belt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think if it was anybody else that he would have gave it to him. He said that he hasn't trained in the gi in years. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, Chael's quote was, "Whatever coach gave Adesanya his purple belt is not trying to serve and praise Adesanya. They're trying to self-serve themselves." I don't know if that's true because if you're not training in the gi, you can still get promoted. Like that's what every 10th planet black belt in the world can't say that they're not a black belt in jiu-jitsu because they don't train in the gi. Galvogue responded and said that Izzy's been training jiu-jitsu for almost 8 years. Galvo promoted him to blue belt in 2017, and Izzy's been training 5 weeks in a row at Atos, and he's there 2 times a day. So I don't know.
Uh,
It seems kind of petty to take something away from to take accomplishment away from Izzy because
yeah,
Chael's trying
and I'm
to.
sure he is on the level of a purple belt. The most shocking thing will be, this is completely off topic, to see if Galvo shows up to fight Gordon Ryan at next year's ADCC. But you know, there's your
I think if we mention enough times on the show that it'll have to
yeah.
happen.
There's no way he does it. So
Do you know what I'm going to say about Izzy getting his purple belt, or what question I'm going to ask you?
do I think that Izzy could pass your guard?
Well, do you?
I don't know. Uh,
I'll take it. I'll take an I don't know.
like just in a straight jiu-jitsu match?
In the gi, I think I sweep and submit him. No gi, it might be a little different.
He's got really, 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 really long legs. He's very long. But you are too. Like
You know what?
you're for your weight, you're unusually long. But he's much longer than you.
I think we should set it up. Me versus Izzy in the gi. I take that match every single day of the week
Okay,
because I want to roll against the UFC champ.
we'll
But
do it.
oh yeah, we'll do it. I don't know if Izzy will do it, but we'll do it.
Izzy, don't make us track you down.
And then when we do track you down, show up and ask you politely to roll with me.
Yeah.
Speaking of MMA guys and jiu-jitsu, Conor McGregor steps in, saves a gym from shutting down in
Yeah, it's
Ireland.
really cool. I was actually just reading that article
Yeah,
today. It's really cool.
yeah, it was the SBG Port Arlington in Ireland, and they posted one day that they were gonna sadly have to shut their doors forever because with the COVID restrictions and everything and the rent bills, they couldn't pay the bills. And then the next day, I think it was the next day, they post again that Connor's gonna basically step in and keep them from having to shut down forever. So you assume he's just paying their bills until they can pay him again, but that's a cool
Yeah,
thing to
good for
do.
him. I
He
mean,
won't.
it is a good thing. He that's his team though. You know what I mean? That's his it's his team. So, I was happy to see that. Around here, like you see a lot of these gyms are staying open because their backs are against the wall. It's crazy to think that, but
Yeah.
people are being forced to kind of go against the restrictions that Tom Wolf's putting into place just because if they follow those restrictions, their business is going to be, done. It's
Yeah.
regardless of your views on it. I think everyone can agree that it's an absolutely terrible, horrible situation for these business owners to be in.
And I think regardless of your opinions of Conor McGregor, it's an admirable thing to do to spend your own money to help a small business, whether it's your team or not, whether it's a large amount of money to you or not. It's, you're still helping people out. So
Yeah.
I think sometimes we lose sight of the fact that people aren't all one thing. Like they're not all great or they're not all awful douchebags. That sometimes people who you wouldn't consider a good person can do a nice thing, and someone who's a good person can do
Yep.
a bad thing. I think sometimes people forget that there's a gray area there, but either way, one more BJJ gym is not shutting down because of COVID, so I'll take it as a plus.
Yeah, I like it. So the other day, I was on Instagram, and Mikey Musumeci posted um, a video, not a video, a picture of his 12-second victory in the finals of Worlds last year, and apparently that is a world record. He caught that guy in a nasty fucking footlock. It was like a straight footlock, 12 seconds in, and he's in the process of getting it verified and kind of validated by Guinness Book of World Records.
it was off a double guard
Right.
pull. They both sat down and he like wasted no time and he grabbed that straight
Yeah.
ankle lock. And you don't realize sometimes 12 seconds seems like a long time, but then when you watch the clip, it's like immediate. You know what I mean? You think like world record, you would think like 6 seconds, 7 seconds, but 12 seconds from when the guy says go to they approach each other, double guard pull, he gets the grip and finishes. Like that is not a long period of time. So I would imagine the only way that that record gets beat is if somebody hits something flying. It's got to be flying armbar right off a tie off or something. But
Yeah.
it's cool to see that the jiu-jitsu world record is going to be Mikey Musumeci's, who's your boy.
He is. He's fucking awesome. But he's a savage, man. He's like, he won it at Rooster weight, and 2 years ago it was his third world championship, and I think he's only 22 years old. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
future's bright.
crazy.
Future's bright for him. So
That picture goes around Instagram like once every 2 weeks
yeah,
of him sitting down and this like monster coming
yep,
forward at him.
yep.
Like
No fear.
if you want a double tap from me and you want me to like your picture, post that picture of Mikey and the really big guy, and I like it every time I see it.
Yeah, he was a total fucking savage in that match. It was incredible to watch. It was absolutely incredible. He was getting folded in half. The dude was driving his fucking forearm into his jaw. Like, there had to be a 300 pound, weight difference, close to 300 pounds. And Mikey was just like he was like a little fucking pit bull in there. It was so impressive. So we'll talk about it with
There's
him
just
when he comes on the show.
this weekend there was who's number one, and there was a lot of fights, but I think the big story was that Kanan became the second person ever to submit Rodolfo Vieira.
Yeah, so I was talking to Brian White about this, and I knew that Kanan was going to win, or Kynan, or whatever the fuck you want to call him this week, but I knew that he was going to win, regardless of what Hudolfo has been doing. Recently he was training down in Miami with Cyborg at Fight Sport, and he's transitioned to MMA. Like, it's a different animal. You know what I mean? Like, his focus isn't solely on jiu-jitsu anymore. Like, he's a world champion. He's one of the all-time greats. And not you can never take anything away from him. But it's just, you know, if you're not consistently evolving with the jiu-jitsu game, like, and it was, again, all credit to both of these guys, but it was like an arm drag to a fucking back take, and it was just it was a very basic concept that was executed to perfection.
Like you said, if you want to win at the highest levels, that's your job. You have to train like it's your job, and if you're not, you can't expect to win every single match.
Right.
It is what it is.
It's his first time competing in years, and just to put it into perspective, when Hudolfo left, he was losing to Buchecha, right? Who has been consistently training and evolving in jiu-jitsu since Hudolfo left. And he lost to Kynan at the last ADCC, Buchecha. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the guy who beat Hudolfo, Hudolfo stopped training strictly jiu-jitsu, started going the MMA route. Buchecha has stayed with jiu-jitsu and continued to compete in just jiu-jitsu. And then he lost to this guy. Like, I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
It was one of the most certain picks. I was more certain of that match than any other pick I had that night. Besides the Ty Ruotolo match against Cody Steele, I knew that Ty Ruotolo was gonna win that match.
Dude, that was a good match too.
Yeah,
That was a good match.
yeah. I knew these Ruotolo kids are fucking incredible. But every other match was good. It was a great card.
Well, coming up this weekend, we mentioned it a couple weeks ago that maybe we were going to do a live viewing of the Submission Underground card
Right.
on the 19th, which is this weekend. We're not going to do that because of quarantining, but I have a strong feeling that next week's episode is going to be breaking down a lot of those matches because if you if you were misbehaving and not listening to our show religiously and you missed us preview this, there's a lot of UFC, MMA fighters who are going to be competing on this show. It's a lot of really cool matchups. So we'll break it all down next week, and we'll talk about the matches and maybe look at some more dream MMA fighter matches that we'd want to see. It's a little late to get me versus Izzy in the gi on this, but maybe
We'll try, but
we can
no
set that up for the
promises.
next
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Stay tuned next weekend for that.
All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We've posted the links to our social media accounts below. We've also posted the link to the show's social media account, so feel free to check them out.
I'm also going to post below to our Patreon account. Don't forget, we have bonus content there, including our monthly Q&A episode, which is coming out this week, a blooper reel every month. We have early access to episodes, technique breakdowns, a ton of extra content, and everyone on Patreon listens to our show ad-free, so make sure you check it out. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed so you can stay up to date on all the latest videos. Say Mike can't take down Justin.
It's going to be a fucking brutal. It's going to be a beating that that's going to bump up our Patreon. That's going to bump it up. That's what we should say. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad.
That's a lot more than I told you to say. See you next time.
See you guys.